Ptolus is an incredibly big source book containing an incredibly big amount of information about an incredibly big city with an incredibly big amount of adventure to be had, and it can be quite daunting to find out how and where to get started as a game master or as a player, but I'm here to tell you that Monte Cook Games actually made it pretty damn easy for you. Hi there, fellow roleplayers and game masters, my name is Mr. Trosk and welcome to part 3 of my overly long Ptolus video reviews series thing, where I talk about this ginormous book, Ptolus, the City by the Spire, where I talk about what I like about it, how they built it, some tips and some tricks about it, which can just not be contained in one video. And today I want to talk about where, how, and when to get started with playing and running a game in and around the City by the Spire, Ptolus. Now, to my opinion, there is two ways of playing and running a urban campaign. It's the same with like big dungeons, stuff where there's a lot of lefts and rights and roundabouts and I don't know, crossroads and T-sections to be made, and there is the exact way and then there's the loosey-goosey way. Now, people who play digital games, who run digital games over Zoom or whatever, or Roll20, I don't know, Foundry, often do like the exact way. That's just a title that I give to it, which basically you as a game master just going like, hey, you're here in the city, where do you want to go? Like, you're in this street right here, where do you want to go? And the players kind of say like, we take a left turn here and take a right turn there. Oh, we want to go to this point, so we now need to take a left turn here, then follow this street and then take a right turn like that. That is the way a lot of people play when they play digitally, which is great because the players can kind of like find out where to go and how to go there. But for a game master, it can be really hard because the players might come up to like a lot of points of interest that you then see, like game master, like, oh, there is this tavern, there's this inn, there is this house, there is this house of an NPC or whatever, points of interest that your players pass by, and you, with a big book like Ptolus, you will not have read about all of that stuff. So it's really hard to, if you don't have a tool that just, or have everything laid out in front of you, it's really hard to like, oh, there's this point of interest, and it's like this, and there's this going on, or whatever, right? Because you just don't know, because you cannot like learn this from the heart, right? So the loosey-goosey way, that's the way I play, and it's actually also for me and for my players often the most fun way. I just go like, hey, you're in the northeast of the city, there's like some markets here and there or whatever, and there's just like some houses, and you just kind of like describe the vibe of the city. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And the players often be like, oh yeah, we it's almost night, I don't know, and we're going to look for a place to sleep, I guess, because we're looking for this guy and we might get some more information about that guy. And I, as a game master, just go, yeah, okay, sure, you're looking for a place to sleep, and you ask around a little bit. You go in like into like a small little tavern and you ask around, and most people, most like commoners of the city, kind of like point you towards the center of the city, where there is a square. They call it Delver's Square, which is this one, which sounds pretty interesting to you. So I'm going to assume you make your way there, and then I, as a game master, can choose like what they encounter and when they encounter it. They're not like saying we're taking this street, or we're taking that street, or we're taking that street. They're like, just, we're going from the northeast all the way to the center to Delver Square, and I'm just like, yeah, you every now and then you take a right turn, like a left turn, you go straight on, you ask a person like Delver Square, where do we need to go, whatever. And if I want to throw in like an adventure in there, like, I don't know, Madman at the Bridge from Global Press, I can perfectly well do so, because I choose like kind of the route the players are taking, and I don't know which route that exactly is. It's just like, I just throw Madman at the Bridge, which is a an adventure at a freaking bridge in a freaking city. I can just throw that at them. But it's the same way with like all of the points of interest in a city like Ptolus. I can choose the ones that my players are encountering, will encounter. I can choose the groups that they're going to have to deal with. I can choose that for them, instead of them like really being like, no, we're taking this street, and then I'm like, oh no, I didn't prepare that street, I don't know about that point of interest. And that's just a little quick note I want to make before you start playing a big ass urban campaign. don't get all focused on the enormous size of it. You as a game master can be more in control than you think, and it is perfectly okay. Most players even like it that way, because if they're making their way through a city or through a town and you're just like, hey, you take a left turn here, you take a right turn there, that feels more as going through a city than exactly saying where you're going from pointing it out on a map. Because pointing it on a map, nobody really does that. You just go like from point A to B and you just figure out how to get there, right? And the only thing that I want to add to that is, although it might seem that I'm railroading my players a little bit more because I'm deciding what they encounter instead of they saying we're taking a right turn here, we're taking a left turn there, I'm still throwing multiple things at them. They will encounter certain things that I don't really have anything specifically prepared for, but they might want to interact with a little bit more. So I will still throw multiple points of interests and NPCs at them for them to kind of like pick and choose whatever they want to interact with. So although it might seem a little bit more railroady, it is just for me, it's instead of it being more railroady, it's actually, it flows much better because I'm only talking about the stuff that I actually have kind of in a certain way prepared, or at least have notion about. And all of that takes me to Delver's Square. Now, if you buy the physical book, you will get a big brown envelope with a lot of like player handouts and handouts for the game master with like information and all that stuff. You actually get this one, Delver Square, which is the map to Delver Square, with on the back a lot of the information, like the really like confined information about every location in and around Delver's Square for you as a game master to pick up, including also like a menu for the tavern in Delver Square, and even like a menu, so to speak, for Abbert's Outfitters, who is a person who sells like just like a lot of like, I don't know, a crowbar, a barrel, a candle, a shovel, a pen, paper, parchment, all of the flasks, spikes, all of that like adventuring stuff. Now, the reason that I like Delver's Square so much is it is basically just like a video game. It is a player hub. It is not just like, hey, you have an inn and then you need to go there to buy this and you need to go there to do that. No, it is a self-contained, almost, it has everything a good, well-equipped village has, but in one square and almost in the middle of the city, meaning that it can be used, and it is ideal as a player hub for your players to get back to and then go out in an adventure and then get back to that to stock up on supplies, to eat, rest, all of that stuff. Just like, I don't know, any video game that has that. I don't know, from top of my head, Monster Hunter. If you play Monster Hunter, you go out and you go slay some monsters and do some stuff and do some gathering and do all of that questing stuff, and then you get back to your hub where you can do all of that downtime stuff like buying equipment, upgrading your equipment, and that is what I like about this. Is so well designed, so simple, and every little building here that they have right here, there's a lot more information in the actual book about that. As a game master, you can of course read all about that, but your players don't need to know anything more than what you tell them about, or what is on here. If you want to give them a little bit more information. But basically, there is a ghostly minstrel, which is it's the inn. It is a tavern. It's like here they have soups. They have cold plates, fish, meat dishes, and desserts. There is a Rester's weapons. Rester's weapons. Just reading from the back of this pamphlet, right quickly. Rester is a massive Lithorian. A Lithorian, by the way, is like this lion type humanoid. Kind of like catfolk-ish, but more lion-ish humanoid kind of thing. He's well known in the district for his impeccable honor and incredible dignity. So basically, he sells weapons. Every now and then, he'll also have like a magic weapon in stock or whatever. But he only buys and resells, but he has incredible honor, so he never sells you a piece of crap, at least not knowingly. He never sells you a bad weapon or a rusted weapon. He only buys and sells like the best stuff. There's Danbury's, like also like if you have a party of players, whether it's 5th edition or the Cypher System, and there's people who are fighters, they want to probably go to Rester's weapons. They want to probably go to maybe Abbert's Outfitters to get like a piece of armor or whatever. But the wizards in the group might want to go to Danbury's, because Danbury's, just reading from the back really quickly, Danbury's bar caters to arcanists. Most of the customers are mages who come in to be with kindred souls. Here they conduct businesses and trade secrets and spells. So basically, if you want to get a new spell or you want to get some magical stuff going on, that is where you go. There's an armory here that gets more information about the armory. And something that I find really cool, and that is just proper game design here. It's really hard for me to show this on the small screen, so I'm going to show this. Let me just quickly do this right here. So they have this menu for the outfitter, but to steer your players in the correct direction, they have a few things here. It's just this is proper game design right here. I do not buy used equipment. Try the elf. Merath, is that the way you pronounce that? Try the elf, basically. So yes, in Delver Square, there is an elf who buys and sells used equipment. Not in the same way that Raster does it. The elf, actually, she focuses more on like magic items and trinkets and little special things and antique and that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for used equipment, a used set of plate armor, I don't know, go try the elf. But it's the same thing right here. No weapons, try Raster. No armor, try Bull and Bear, right? So, and also they say right here, always ask. If you don't see it listed here, we got mega loads of stuff in the back. Which is proper game designs, because giving this to your players, by the way, there's 2 copies of this in the brown envelope. Giving this to your players actually always will steer them in the right direction in order to get the right supplies, get the right stuff, and know who to talk to, and as a result, the players after a while will probably have spoken to a lot of different people, like, I don't know, in the bar, in the mage's bar, like the armory. They might encounter somebody there, which gives you as a game master the perfect opportunities to set up a quest or set up an adventure in and around the city. They also have an arrow here, St. Gustav's Chapel, so if you want to get, I don't know, you want to get blessed or want to get some healing potions and that kind of stuff, across the street from this square is St. Gustav's Chapel. So if you want to have like some kind of holy quest with or something with the gods, it's perfect. There's also a chapel nearby that you can steer your players towards to kind of like start this quest. So although Ptolus is a ginormous mega city, Delver Square is actually very, very self-contained, has everything you as a game master to give your players the feeling that they're in a big city, while in reality they're in a self-contained, almost video game-like hub. Now this is really, really important. A player's guide to Ptolus. This is free. Free for anybody to download via the Monte Cook Games web store or whatever website. Link is in the description below. Go and grab it. This is a 34 pages PDF player's guide that if your players read through it, they will have the perfect amount of information about everything. You as a game master will have a lot more information about the things you choose to have a lot more information about, to steer the quest in a certain direction, but the players at least will have notion about the things that you are talking about and how the city feels and all of that stuff. Now I say it's 34 pages thick, but it is, so it's not just like your toilet read really quickly, but it also has like this page, then it has like, I don't know, 6 pages of character sheet or something like that. So in that sense, it is actually very well digestible, and it just talks about a lot of stuff, about how to play in and around Ptolus, how it works, about a lot of like the organizations, important people, the currency system is very important. There is some creating character for Ptolus stuff, like what are the common species, the minor species. So really quickly, when I click this, there is like this picture, a really old school 3.5 edition feeling picture of like all of the like the common races from left to right. An elf, a dwarf, a Etorian, which is the lion-esque thing here, a halfling, a human, and a gnome, who are like the major things. Player character backgrounds. They talk about like, yeah, just living in Ptolus, how the year works, how the week works. Basically, it's the same as us. They have a 364-day year, which is basically the same as us, and they have a 7-day week, and the climate is cool, and just like this stuff about how the city feels, and so important to give this at least to your players. Now, you're always going to have players who are not going to read this, and you're always going to have players who are going to read this. That is actually what I love about tabletop RPGs. I love that there is players who come like extremely prepared, and like, my character lives in the city, has been living here and raised here, and they have all that kind of stuff like that ties into the city and feels really urban, and I like that as a game master. I can work with that as a game master. But I also like two players at my table being just like, fuck all, I have a character, what are we going to do? I'll just tag along and make some bad decisions along the way and stuff. So because you can then really like introduce them to the city while you are playing, which is also very, very cool. So it is well worth. If I would give this to my 5-player party, 2 players would read it top to bottom. I think one would like glance over it and have like a good idea about what we're doing, and 2 others will probably be like, fuck all, I don't have time for that, I'm an adult, I have other things to do, which is perfectly fine. It's an RPG. Like, here is the information about Delver Square. Something that I failed to mention in the previous part of this video is that there is a staircase here which goes to like the Undercity Market. Is that the correct term? The Undercity Market, which has a lot of buying things, but also adventure potential as well. So in that sense, it is just proper game design, how they designed this to be, yeah, proper in a sense that it's the perfect place for you to or is this correct? Perfect place for you to like start adventures and do all that stuff. I don't know. They talk about organizations. One that I find really interesting here is the Brotherhood of Redemption, which is a brotherhood of monks who don't believe in inherent evil, so they will pay a price for an evil creature who is evil at that point in time. For example, you might find an orc who wants to kill you because they're evil or whatever, but you bring that orc to the Brotherhood of Redemption, and they will then attempt to make them good. As a matter of fact, there is this really well-known, let me see, there is this really well-known, Erlanius, the ogre mage, was brought in by a group of delvers years ago, and now is a well-respected priest of Nevershva. So as you can see, I think that's just something really cool to work with for some reason. I don't know. That's just something that I would use in my game. Yeah, I'm clicking my things. I have this. This is wrong. This is wrong. It comes with a map, but this is wrong. Let me just like fix this really quickly. It's supposed to be like this. There's important individuals. There's a map with like the main things with some numbers here, like, oh, where is this? And oh, this is there. And so you can play the exact way where your players are like, yeah, we go from here all the way like through this street, and we go there and we go there. Oh, then we encounter something here. What is that? But that would be a pain in the ass for me as a game master. I just wanted to point this out. It is a free download, free for everybody. Even if you're on the fence about Ptolus and you want to get like a more general idea of what the city is and what you can and how it feels and whatever, and how it is written and how it is laid out, this is a perfect preview for anybody who's on the fence on spending like $150,000 on the book. And that's it. I still only scratched the surface about like what there is to talk about of Ptolus. There's also like adventure. There's also an adventure book that has like, I think 3 or 4 adventures to play in and around Ptolus. There's a lot of like, I want to talk about the currency system, about some of the organizations, some of locations that I find really interesting. If you have any questions or any like you want to ask me to talk about a certain subject, make sure to put that in the comments below. If you want me to continue this video series about Ptolus, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Also tell me in the comments below, because I really want to know. It keeps the channel alive, and if you want to see me continue what I'm doing, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Until next video, bye bye.